For which it's, oh wait, no. Which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor. I will honor those things which are good, true, and beautiful. Respect. I will show respect to others at all times. Service. I will do good things for others without being asked. Excellence. I will strive for excellence in all things. Perseverance. I will fulfill commitments and not give up or act on discouragement.
Thank you very much, Judy. Let's pause for a moment of silence. Okay, well, let's get started on some phonogram and spelling review at this time. Can you all take out your whiteboard and marker? All right, we're going to do some phonograms first and then get into spelling. And by the way, we have just well-ordered language review today, and we're actually not going to do it together. I'll just have you do it independently, and then we'll jump right into math. And so we might finish class a little bit early today. I've got kind of a bad headache this morning, and so I'm going to keep the well-ordered language stuff for you to do just on your own, since it should be easy enough for you guys to do. So we might end class a little bit early, maybe about 20 minutes early or so. Okay. Let's get started on some phonograms. We'll begin with the phonogram. Hua. Can you all write hua? Like when?
Say that again, please.
Hua, like in the word when or where. I know it sounds kind of like qua, but it's hua, hua, like whistle. Can anybody whistle? I have a hard time whistling. Kruthi, can you whistle for us?
I can't.
Can I hear you whistle, Emma? Oh, that was a good one. Alina? Oh my goodness, that's like a bird whistle. That's really impressive. Samhita, can you whistle for us? Ooh, another really good one. So that is the type of hua we're writing, like in whistle. It sort of sounds like you're whistling when you say that. Hua, hua. Your mouth forms the same shape as when you whistle. Hua. Okay, next up, please write the phonogram chik, sh, chik, sh, chik, sh. Emma, can you say it for us? Good. Chik, sh, chik, sh. Dikshita? Good job, Dikshita. Here it is. All right, next up, let's write the phonogram ng. Ng. Rishith, would you unmute yourself and say this one for us?
Ng.
Good job. Ng. Next up, please write the phonogram edit, past tense ending. Edit, past tense ending. Tig, by the way, the ing ending is the main way we do use ng, but the phonogram itself is actually just the ng.
Oh.
But you're right that we usually use it in that whole suffix. Here's edit, past tense ending. Ariansh, would you unmute yourself and say it for us?
Edit.
Good.
And is tomorrow a weekend of because of Easter?
No, Easter, or at least the main Easter, I think that the Orthodox Church has a separate date, but Easter was a couple weeks ago, and we didn't actually have any days off for Easter, unfortunately. There's nothing unusual in the schedule.
Tomorrow's
Earth Day. Yes, tomorrow is Earth Day, but we still have regular classes.
Okay.
Good question. Next, please write the phonogram k, two-letter k, used only after a single vowel, which says a, I, a. K, two-letter k. And last phonogram, please write ch, three-letter ch, used after a single vowel, which says a, I, a. Alexander, would you unmute yourself and say that for us? And Marcus, could you turn your camera
on? Which one?
Right here.
Oh.
With the T, it's ch, three-letter ch.
Three-letter ch.
Used after a single vowel, which says a, I, a.
Used after a single vowel that says a, u, a.
Good, like Quidditch. Oh, good one. Yeah, that's a perfect example of it. Love it, Tig. Okay, that's all of our phonograms for today. Next up, let's do some spelling words, starting with eliminate. Please write eliminate. Eliminate. Kind of sounds like you ate a lemon. Eliminate. Marcus, if you can hear me, would you turn your camera on? I can't tell if you're right there or not. And I want to see your spelling words, please. Excellent job, Sahanasri, Kruthi, Dikshita. Ariansh, you're so close.
I can't turn off my camera because whenever I do, it just automatically turns it back on.
I'm confused, but if there's somebody nearby to help you, can they help you get that camera on? Should work since it usually does work for you. Okay, next up, please write the word endeavor, like a business endeavor. Endeavor is the way we think to spell it. The thing that's a little tricky about it is that there's an E-A in that second syllable. Good job for remembering that. We use E-A in the middle syllable. Rishith, make sure you're holding it up after each one, bud. Thank you. Dikshita, it does sound like I, but it's a, endeavor. Endeavor. Next up is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm. Can you show me what enthusiasm looks like? Oh, very good enthusiasm from Alina and Josiah and Tig. I think Tig has enthusiasm if we're going to Disney World. Emma and Alexander, nice enthusiasm. Who knows how we could make that into an adjective? Can anybody tell me what that would be as an adjective? Samhita, do you know?
Enthusiastic?
You got it. Perfect. Enthusiastic. Okay, here's enthusiasm. Remember that last syllable, asm, we say really quickly and it's all one syllable, kind of like organism. Ism and asm are used at the end of nouns. Oh, perfect spelling of enthusiastic as well, Ariansh. Great job. All right, next up, please write the word physical and, coming from the same base word, physician. Those are going to be our last two. Physical, which we think to spell physical, and physician. Both of those have to do with the human body. Can somebody say physical in a sentence for me? Think of a sentence with physical. Alina?
Let's see. I should have thought of a sentence before I said it. Okay, wait, I did got a sentence. Yeah, and you can be physical, so you can when you be physical, you kind of get tired after you be so physical.
Yeah, after a lot of physical exercise, you do get tired. Krithi, can you give us another sentence?
PE stands for physical education.
Oh, nice one. And that's true. That's what PE stands for. Physical education, which is like educating how we use our body and how to keep it healthy. Now, what's a physician? That's our last word. Who can remind me what a physician is? It also has to do with the human body. Ariansh?
I think it's someone who, I think studies the human body or something.
Yeah, very good. It's a doctor. So it's a doctor who...
I was just about to say a musician because they sound so similar.
It does. That's because that suffix is used for talking about a person who's professional at something. So like musician, physician. Can somebody think of another word that has that shan ending? How about electrician? That's somebody who specializes in working with electrical things like putting lights in a house. Can you think of another one, Alexander? And that's all. You can start erasing your board.
Nutrition.
Which one?
Nutrition.
I'm confused. What is it?
Nutrition, like
Nutrition. Oh, that actually uses the Sean suffix with tall letter sh. That's a very good guess, though. Can you all start taking out your binders for spelling? Yes, Rishith?
nutrition.
Which one?
Fiction.
Fiction? Oh, that's another good thought, but that actually uses the Sean suffix as well. So we're talking about ones that are, it's a person who has like a specific job. Kruti?
A pediatrician.
Ooh, nice. Pediatrician is an excellent example of that. So that's a person who has a job of being a doctor for kids. Tig, what are you drawing there? And boys and girls, let's get ready for our spelling lesson.
It says there will not be much physical activity on this. This pointing to
The
my
road
mom's
trip.
room with all of us in it. Yes.
Oh, yeah, good point. Hopefully you're able to have some, like when you do bathroom breaks, stretch and get some exercise and have some physical activity every time you stop the car.
First day, 8 hours. Second day, 8 hours. Third day of driving. Third day, 6 hours. Fourth day, around 6 too. And then it's just going to be a series of long drives and not so long stops.
Okay. Well, let's get started on our spelling lesson for today, boys and girls. We have 5 words in our lesson today, but 2 of them go together, same base word. Okay. Who is ready for our first word? And Marcus, if you can hear me, would you turn your camera on? I know you said you were having a hard time with that before. Is there any way to turn that camera on?
There's a camera button on the bottom.
Yeah, that's right. On the right of the leave call button. So Marcus left the meeting. Okay. Might have him just watch this later. Okay, boys and girls, our first word is benefit. Can you all say benefit? Benefit is something good that can happen. So you could say like, oh, the benefit of being in person next year is that you'll see your friends. That's one of the benefits of being back in person next year. Or you could say that there are lots of benefits to being active, having physical exercise. It's fun, it keeps you fit, it makes you more skilled at different sports. Benefit. Can you all sound out benefit with me? Benefit. 3 syllables. First syllable is b, n, 3 sounds. Just like Ben, who used to be in our class. Don't you guys miss Ben? He's back in person. Next syllable is E. Ben, E, we can think of it. It's in an open syllable, even though it says just an S sound. And final syllable is f, it. 3 sounds, basic code. Please pick up your pencil and write benefit, but you can think of it as benefit. Benefit. n, syllable break. E, syllable break. It, benefit. But we say benefit. Alina?
Wait, can I mark the word?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think you have to put a thinking cap on the second E because you kind of like say benefit.
Yes. It's unstressed, so it doesn't say an E sound. It says like an it or a sound, benefit.
Yeah, and then is that all?
Yeah, that's the only marking.
Wow.
So what part of speech is this?
I need someone to help me out.
That's okay. It's pretty abstract, but Arshav, do you think you know what part of speech it is?
Noun.
You're right, it's a noun. You know, nouns can be person, place, or thing, or an idea. And this is like an idea. It's something that you would have. Like it's a benefit to doing this. Okay, so we're going to turn it into an adjective, and to do that, we're going to make it beneficial. Right? So to describe something that's good for you, you can say it's beneficial. So beneficial. We're going to think to spell this as beneficial. Can you sound it out with me? Beneficial. 4 syllables. First syllable, ben, just like before. Second syllable, e, just like before, ben, e. Then we have I, but drop the T, okay? Drop the T. And for the last syllable, we're going to add sh, a, o, 3 sounds. That's sh, short letter sh, and the rest is basic code. Please pick up your pencil and write it. Hold it up when you're done, please. B, n, syllable break. E, syllable break. I, syllable break. Sh, a, o. Beneficial. We say beneficial. Arshap, would you mark the word for us?
Thinking cap on the E, on the, you underline it, and then next syllable is basic, and last syllable, you underline the short letter sh. And put a thinking cap above the A.
Perfect. What part of speech is it?
Adjective.
Perfect. Okay. Marcus, if you can hear me, you should be doing the spelling with us and turn your camera on. I know you're catching up on some other things, but I need you to do the spelling right now so that you don't get behind, okay? Next word is one that is really a thing to spell. The word is kernel, but not like a kernel of corn, if that's what you're thinking. Can anybody think of another word that is pronounced kernel, but not like a kernel of corn? Tyke?
It's a rank in the army.
Very good. Oh, sorry. I got excited and hit the button. That's right. It's kind of like a general. It's a rank in the army, colonel. Now, you've probably seen this in writing before. Does anybody know how we think to spell this one? It's kind of a weird one. We say colonel, not kind of. It's a very weird one. But do you know what we think to spell for this, Aryansh?
I mean, based on what you're saying, I think it's Cernal.
It's actually going to be colonel. Colonel.
What?
How many of you have played the game Clue? You've probably seen it in writing with one of the characters. Do you know who I'm talking about, Josiah?
Colonel Mustard.
That's right. There's Colonel Mustard. And if you see his name written out, it looks like Colonel Mustard. That's weird, isn't it? Very weird. Okay, sound out Colonel with me. Oh, was it Colonel Mustard? Colonel Mustard in the hall with the lead pipe. I think it was. Okay, I love that game. Who else likes that game? It's so, so good. Okay, Colonel Mustard, or just Colonel is the way we're going to sound it out. Colonel, 3 syllables. First syllable, k-a-ul, 3 sounds. Basic code. Next syllable, o, 1 sound, open syllable saying its name. And finally, n-a-ul, basic code. No double consonants here, no double letters, okay? Please pick up your pencil and write colonel. Josiah, did you have a question?
No.
Miss Gardner, can you say the word one more time?
Kernel, but we think to spell colonel. Okay. Call, syllable break, O, syllable break, no, colonel. Great job if you got that right. But weirdly enough, we say colonel. Who came up with that? So weird. Yes, Alexander?
Can I mark it?
Yes, you may.
Oh, wow. Wait.
There is a lot to mark here. Okay, remember that we say kernel. That's the way we sound it out.
So, A-O-U, the first one, has a thinking cap.
So, yeah, actually, I'm going to go with what the manual says on this, and we're going to thinking cap O and L together because both of them make an sound, strangely enough.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that so weird?
Yeah.
That is an unusual word.
And then the second one is double underline.
Perfect.
Okay.
It's silent. You're right.
You don't hear at all when we say kernel. And then now is basic code.
Actually, we say kernel.
Oh, no, hold on. Thinking cap?
That's right. Okay, so kernel is a noun. Great job. Next up, we're going to write. Uh-oh. Don't be scared off by this word. It's kind of a COVID-related word. Uh-oh. Now, what do we say about something that is easy to catch? It can spread between lots of people. Can anybody think of a word that's an adjective describing something that's kind of easy to catch? Sahanasri, do you know it?
Is it virus? It spreads.
Virus is a good guess, but not virus. We're looking for an adjective. Rishith?
I know it starts with P if it's a type of virus.
Oh, good guess, but no, it doesn't start with P. Ty, do you think you know it?
Contagious.
You got it. Contagious is an adjective used to describe something that's easy to catch. You were thinking of that too, Emma? Good job. Okay, we're going to think to spell this as contagious or contagious. Yeah. Sound it out with me. Contagious. 3 syllables. The first syllable is k-a-n, basic code. Con. Next syllable, t-a, 2 sounds. A is in an open syllable saying its name. And third syllable, j-a-s, 3 sounds. That's, sorry, it's j saying its second sound, or sorry, j saying its second sound because of a silent I. So we actually should think of it as contagious. Contagious, because there's a silent I there to keep j saying its second sound. And then we have the OUS suffix for adjectives using L-O-U-A. Pick up your pencil, please, and write contagious. So close, Tig, but it's going to be I-E for the E sound. You could think of it as contagious if it helps you. Con, te, G or jai, us. Conte. Oh, sorry, actually, there is a syllable break there. So I'm going to rewrite it. Con, te, jai, us. If you misspelled it, please rewrite it. I would understand if you misspelled it because I forgot to say that that was going to be a separate syllable. Because when we pronounce it, it's contagious. All of this is together, but we're going to mark it as 2 different syllables. Dikshita, could you mark it for us?
Con is basic syllable.
Well, we say contagious. Remember that that's the pronunciation.
The O is thinking cap.
Great job.
The A is underlined because it's open syllable. I is also underlined because it's an open syllable.
It's actually double underlined because we don't say it. We say contagious.
And you underline the OU suffix, like the
We're going to put a 2 on top of the j, and yes, ow, o, oo, is underlined. Which sound is it saying? Contagious. Ow, o, oo, Ow, o, oo, contagious. Fourth sound. And it's an adjective. We've got one more word for today's lesson. Our last word for today's lesson is development. Can you all say development? So development turns that verb develop into a noun, adding the suffix ment. There could be business development. You might have I'm trying to think of a time that you might have heard of this in a sentence. Basically, it just means to like add on. Develop is like to add on and increase in something. And development is turning that into a noun. It's the thing that is increasing and developing. Okay, let's sound out the word as development. We say develop, but we think to spell develop. Okay. Development, 4 syllables. First syllable, d-e. E is in an open syllable saying its name. Next syllable, v-e-l, is basic code, devel. Third, a-p, basic code, develop. And finally, m-e-n-t, 4 sounds, basic code as well. Development. Pick up your pencil and write it, please. Okay, D, syllable break, v-e-l, syllable break, a-p, syllable break, m-e-n-t, development. Check that your spelling matches mine, and if it doesn't, please correct it. And could I have Alina mark it for us?
Okay, so first you thinking cap the first D and underline it.
Development. Let's check our manual for that. Yeah, we are going to think
Then
cap
you
it as well,
put
'cause it's
thinking cap on the O.
very good. And nothing for the last syllable. Actually, no. We will put a thinking cap also on the E because we say development. Thank you, Lena. And it's a noun.
You thinking cap the O, and then you underline the O.
Sorry, I think there's a delay for Alina. Okay, let's write them in cursive. Benefit. Benefit. Beneficial. This is good practice of the letter B and connecting it to an E. Looks like that. Kernel is colonel. Contagious. And development. Yes, Alina?
So I was kind of thinking, so can I say sentence?
Yes.
Can I say sentence?
Alina, I think there's quite a delay. You know what, sweetie? I'm just going to have people write them in cursive.
Okay, so the development of the coronavirus became contagious.
I'm sorry, Alina. I think that there's quite a delay. The development of coronavirus became contagious. And I'm sure you connected the other words well. That's a good start, definitely. And a good use of development. Okay. For our next cursive practice, we're going to write a quote from yesterday. And I bet some of you can guess what it is. In Farmer Boy, what did Father say to Almanzo about the threshing process? Who remembers it? Samhita?
Is it haste makes waste?
Perfect. That's a great saying, isn't it? Do you think that's true? Yeah, Aryansh, what does that phrase mean? Haste makes waste.
It means the more faster you do it, the more you can waste. It might get the job done quicker, but it's going to just make you waste a lot of stuff. And as you know, the Wilders do not waste anything.
That's exactly right. The Wilders do not waste anything. They really take this message to heart. And that's something that we should follow along with as well. Like if you are just hasty, then you might throw away a lot of things that you don't really need to throw away. That could happen in cooking. That could happen in your schoolwork. If you're like messy and not really careful with your supplies, you could be wasting paper. And it also might mean that you make mistakes and then you end up wasting time because you've got to do it over again. Does that happen to anybody? If they do something really quickly the first time and then they have to redo it. Yeah, so you should do it correctly the first time. That's what the Wilders would do. Tig, do you have an example?
Well, I was just thinking that when that happens, it's annoying, really annoying, because you might have spent so much time working on the first one that if you have to do it another time, just neater, it'll be a waste of paper, pencil lead, maybe pen ink. It'll just be a waste and it'll be annoying because you spent so much time working on something. Then it turns out to be messy and then you have to redo it. It's annoying.
Yeah, I agree. So it's better to do it the first time, just really correctly. Although, if it's about neatness, sometimes you are trying to be careful and it's still a little bit messy. I know that happens sometimes. But haste makes waste is a great motto. So we should be slow and careful with our work so that nothing gets wasted, and so we do a good job the first time. Can I see everybody's cursive? You should have 5 words in cursive plus the phrase haste makes waste. Great job. Okay, once you're done with that, boys and girls, as I mentioned before, we're going to do well-ordered language just on your own today. It's going to be just a review. I'll show you what it looks like. Starting with page 172. This learn it thing you don't have to do, and it really doesn't make a lot of sense with us not being in a classroom. We can do just a couple of them really quickly where there's not a verb jar, but you would join together the verb with a conjunction and make a sentence out of what you have here. So it could be something like, Lucy the pig sprints and wrestles with Almanzo. It could be something silly like that. But other than that, the rest is just your lesson to practice. So you'll have these sentences to do on your own, A, B, C, and D. Remember to be singing your prepositional phrase song in your head if you're not sure, or sorry, not prepositional phrase, but the preposition song if you're unsure about any of those. Aboard, about, above, across, after, against, along, among, around, preposition words, before, behind, below, beneath, beside, between, beyond, at, by. At is a really common one. Make sure that you're remembering that at is always a conjunction, always, always. Okay, so you'll do page 173. You don't actually even have to do page 172. I'll change that on Bright Thinker. You don't have to do this learn it exercise, but you can if you want. And then at the bottom, you'll do something very similar to what we've been doing lately. Tig, would you read the instructions here? For number 2?
Could you zoom in, please? Imagine
Is
how
that enough?
different. I still can't read it. Imagine how different people throw things. With that in mind, write the following sentences, being sure to use synonyms for the word throw.
So think of a way that a bride might throw something. The only thing I can think of a bride throwing would be a bouquet, but you could say a synonym for throw to tell how she might throw that bouquet.
A bride chucked a bouquet.
Oh, that would give a very specific idea in your mind. Do you guys know what chucked means? It's kind of to aggressively toss something. So that's a funny way to think of a bride throwing a bouquet. She just chucked it. And then you'll think of, for the next part, how a garbage man might throw something.
I know.
He might toss it. he might, if you want to say it gently, you could say he placed it somewhere. And you are welcome to also add adjectives and adverbs to make that even more interesting too. And how a baseball player might throw a ball as well. Okay, that's what you're going to do on your own for your review today. At this time, we're actually going to take out orthography notebooks and get started on that. And then we'll begin math a little bit early. Aryansh?
Everybody knows you're gonna have to use like a synonym. Like everyone knows exactly what synonym to use for the baseball player, because as everyone knows, baseball players can throw up to 100 miles per hour balls.
Yeah, so you can have maybe a good sentence about that. What kind of synonym might you use for throw in that sentence? Aryansh, what synonym for throw do you think you could use? For a baseball player. Can you think of another word?
I guess tossed.
Yep, tossed could work. Tig's word chucked could work for the baseball. By the way, boys and girls, can you turn to page 63? We're going to write the words for lesson 101. You could also say pitch for a technical term for baseball, or hurl something, hurling it. Okay, let's write our words for lesson 101. Yes, Samhita?
I have a good synonym for throw for a bride. She could toss the bouquet.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. Okay, lesson 101. Let's write first benefit. Please write benefit. Next is beneficial. Next, contagious. Or sorry, kernel was before contagious. Kernel, we think just spell colonel. Next, contagious. Contagious. I'm actually going to erase that. I forgot to separate out the syllables again. And finally, development. And there's all of our words. also going to sort in a couple spots before we move on to math time. One place I'd like you to write is the noun page. For a who word, let's write kernel.
Which page is that?
Oh, page 24. Page 24. Also, this is an older one, but let's also write physician. We have musician and physician. That's page 24. And then I also want to write on page 33. Actually, we may not have space. Yeah, we have the OUS suffix already filled out completely. We can't add contagious. Actually, there's space for the mint. Let's add development to that mint suffix line next to amusement. Development. Oh, sorry, that's showing only the top. Down here, number 3, mint, you should have space for development. Y'all see that on page 33? Okay, once you're done with that, that's all for orthography. We'll move on to math. Okay, boys and girls, for the first part of our math lesson, I want to do a little bit of quick review with your whiteboards. Can you all take out your whiteboard and marker? And we're going to do some quick review of some fractions with some blocks. Let's see. Okay, boys and girls, so we've got some colored blocks here. If you've got your whiteboard ready to go, please tell me what fraction of these blocks are green. What fraction of them are green? We've got to count up all of them first. To figure out the denominator, we need to find the total. Then count up how many of them are green. Excellent work. For those of you who are ready to go, I see 4/7. Well done. Rishith, do you have a whiteboard? Please make sure you're holding it up after you're done with writing each one. Okay, now tell me what fraction of them are pink. 3/7. Very good. Okay, can I, next here, what fraction of these are purple? Three, 6. Very good. Now we can make that a simpler form. Tell me what the simpler form is. Tig, the question was how many of them are purple? Can you count out how many are purple?
There are 4 purples.
Oh, sorry, that's a different color. Let me switch it out.
Oh.
It was brown.
Oh.
But now it's yellow, so hopefully that's a little easier to tell a difference. Okay. 3/6. 3 out of 6 blocks are purple. And we could also say 1/2 for that. Very good. We would say 1/2 because look at this. exactly half of the 6 are purple. Now, how many are white? Can you tell me how many are white as a fraction? Good, 2/6, which Samhita, great job. You already figured out we can reduce that. 2/6 is the same as how much? What's the simplest form?
Can I say it out loud?
Let's wait for others to solve it. Boys and girls, 2/6 is how many white there are, but write that as a reduced fraction. I see Ariane, Alina, and Kruthi have answered it. Same with Alexander. Everybody else, tell me what 2/6 is the same as. One-third, great job. And just to show what that would look like, look, if we have 6 divided up into 3 groups, 1/3 of them are white. Can you tell me what fraction of the blocks are neither purple nor white? What fraction of the blocks are neither purple nor white? One-sixth. Only 1 out of 6 are not purple or white. Can we reduce that? If there's 1 as a numerator, can you reduce it, make it even smaller? Nope. If 1 is the numerator, that tells you its simplest form already. Great job. Are you guys ready for one more? Let's do one more set of blocks. Okay. If we have quite a lot now. We've got some pinks, we've got some greens, we've got some browns. What fraction of these blocks are brown? Make sure you count up the total first. Good, 2/9. Can we make that any smaller? A simpler fraction? No, we can't, because you can't, you could divide 2 by 2, but you can't divide 9 by 2. Now, what if I add one more block to the mix? What's the fraction of brown blocks now? I added one more to the total. 2/10, very good. Now, can we make that a simpler form? 2/10. Show me the simplest form of 2/10. Two-tenths, if we divide both of these by 2, equals what? And we can divide both of these by 2. They're both divisible by 2. Good job. It equals 1/5. Excellent job. If you got a lot of those right, you are rocking these fractions. Both identifying fractions with pictures and finding equivalent fractions. Great job. Okay, boys and girls, we are done with our fraction unit, and we're going to be taking a test in 2 days on Friday. On Friday, we'll have our test on fractions, so we're going to spend the next 2 days reviewing. And you'll need your math notebook for some of it today, but then we'll do some still on your whiteboard, okay? So keep that whiteboard handy. Okay, can you all see the chapter 14 review? So we're going to be doing some of this today and some of it tomorrow, and then you're going to have a test on Friday. I'll add a little bit of extra fraction work for you guys to do also on Bright Thinker, finding some equivalent fractions. So I'll put that in Bright Thinker later, and you'll just do that on notebook paper, which would be fine. Okay, so Dikshita, would you read number 1 for us? And choose the number or the word from the word bank that would make most sense.
The fractions 3/4 and 9/12 are blank fractions.
Okay, so 3/4 and 9/12 are what kind of fractions? Numerator, like, denominator, whole, equivalent, simplest, or unlike? Dikshita?
Yes.
Which one of these would make the most sense?
Equivalent fractions.
Yeah, equivalent. Does that make sense to everybody? They're equivalent because they're equal to the same amount. Let's take that and put it here. How about number 2? You don't have to write these down, by the way, boys and girls, not right now. This is just going over it together. The blank is 6 in the fraction 6/9. What would we call 6 in that fraction 6/9? Ariansh?
The numerator.
Excellent. Numerator. The numerator is 6 in that fraction 6/9. Sorry, I got kind of off balance. Numerator and denominator is at the bottom. Josiah, would you like to do number 3 for us?
Yeah. 5, 6, and 3/4 are like fractions.
Good. Oh, actually, sorry, they are not like.
Unlike fractions.
Yes, you got it. Unlike, because there's not the same denominator. And they're not equivalent either. So equivalent wouldn't make sense for that. 4/12 in blank form is 1/3. What would we say? Like, denominator, whole, or simplest? 4/12 is blank form. Sahanasri?
Is it simplest?
Yes, it is. Good job. Simplest form. They are equivalent. But when you hear form, that should make you think it's simplest form. Simplest form is when it's the smallest numbers possible for an equivalent fraction. Emma, would you like to do the next one?
The blank is 10 in the fraction 9/10. The denominator.
Good job. The denominator is 10. And the fraction 9/10. Okay, 2 more. We've got like and whole left. What do you think number 6 is? 1/9 and 8/9 are blank fractions. Would we say like or whole? Which one is it? Like or whole? Arshab?
Which number?
Number 6.
Okay. They are like fractions.
Good. Can you tell us what like fractions are in your own words?
Like fractions are okay, fractions with this two fractions with the same denominator or more are like fractions.
Good. 2 fractions with the same denominator. 2 or more fractions with the same denominator. And finally, there's only one left, whole. We know it's that one, but let's think about it as well. 4/5 and 1/5 make a whole. Tig, can you explain that? 4/5 and 1/5 make a whole. What does that mean? Tig, are you there? Okay, Ariane, could you explain that?
Because the denominator is 5, 4 plus 1 equals 5. So 5/5 is technically 1 whole.
Good. When we add 4 and 1, you get 5 as a numerator with a denominator of 5. Whenever your numerator and denominator are the same, that's 1 whole. Okay, boys and girls, I'm afraid there's an issue with my camera, so I'm going to leave the call and come right back and then present that screen again.
That probably won't work because I tried it 3 times.
No teacher party. Do 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 do.
Yay.
I heard that. Tig, were you taking over?
Yes, yay, I was.
He always does that.
Okay, let's keep going with our review now. So 4/5 and 1/5 make a whole. Okay, we'll do that page tomorrow. So we're going to keep going with this section. I'd like you to write this part on your whiteboard now. Okay, so hopefully you've got your whiteboard ready to go. What fraction of these fruits are cherries? What fraction of the fruits are cherries? Write it on your whiteboard. Good, 4/9. Can we make that any simpler? Nope, because you going through the numbers to maybe divide by, you can't divide 9 by 2. You could divide 9 by 3, but you can't divide 4 by 3. And you can divide 4 by 4, but you can't divide 9 by 4. So let's move on to the next one. Also, by the way, whenever I want to type a fraction, I'll write it like this with that slash, which on your keyboard is the same as the question mark. Okay? That's how I'll type a fraction. Next, who can tell me what fraction is not shaded? And I want you to write it 2 ways. Write it with, at first, with the denominator of actual number of groups, and then write it in simplest form. What fraction is not shaded? So count up all of the parts of the circle. That's your denominator. Ty, do you see which one we're on? This blue circle. Which fraction, tell me the fraction that is not shaded.
2/5.
Count up how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, 2/6.
Good, and then write it in simplest form, everybody. If you're not sure about simplest form, I'll give you a hint. You can divide both by 2 to figure it out. Rishith, can you tell me your answer?
Which question?
We're on number 9. What fraction is not shaded of the blue circle?
Six-fourths.
No, so Rishith, I'll have you, for the first part, we want to count up all of the parts of the circle. How many parts of the circle are there altogether? What's the total number of groups?
Six.
Good. That's our denominator. Our denominator is always the total number of groups, Rishith. Now, the question is, which fraction is not shaded? Can you count how many have not shaded?
2. 2 are not
2. So that means our fraction that is not shaded is 2/6. Now we can find a simpler form though, if we divide both of these numbers by 2. Rishith, what's our new equivalent fraction by when we divide these both by 2?
Three.
3 is the denominator. What's our numerator?
4.
What's 2 divided by 2? Not times 2, but divided by 2.
1.
Good, 1. Okay, so there is the equivalent fraction, 1/3. Next, what fraction is shaded of this one? What fraction of this red rectangle is shaded? That's one extra piece there. I don't know if you can tell that. Can you all write it on your whiteboard? Excellent. 3/4. 3 of the 4 pieces are shaded. Okay, let's move on to this as our last little section. It says to add or subtract. Yes, sweetie?
What are we doing? I had to leave the call because my internet connection was lost. So what are we doing?
Sorry about that. We are doing the math review for fractions. So can you see my presented screen? Okay, we're going through addition and subtraction of fractions now. Ariansh? Actually, I'll have everybody do this part on their own. Let's take a moment to do all of these on your whiteboards and then go over the answers. Add or subtract. Notice that this one has an equal sign, so I want you to write it in 2 ways. So please do 11 through 15 on your own, and then we'll go over the answers. And these can just be on your whiteboards. Alexander?
It's kind of hard for me because my marker dried out, and I'm trying to like find space because I don't want to waste any paper.
Totally. You know, I think that it's best to just use your paper. And don't worry about wasting it. This is something that's really going to be a good use. So I'll go ahead. I'll have you just write all of them. By the way, number 11 can also be written in two ways. I want you to write both ways. And 15 can also be written two ways. So 11, 13, and 15, you'll write two different answers, basically. 11, 13, and 15. Okay, take a few more minutes to solve, and then we'll go over answers. Can you all raise your hand, like click the raise hand button if you finished? Finished all 5. Again, click raise hand if you finished all of your 5 addition and subtraction problems. Alexander, are you wanting to share answers?
I would like to, but could you move 14 and 15 up? I can't see them.
Yes, they're also, oh, actually, they're, sorry, it's right here on the screen, and then I also am doing it on my whiteboard.
Could I
There's
also
both
share
of them.
when I finish?
Once everybody's done.
Okay.
Thank you. Once you're finished with all 5 problems, click raise hand. Rishith, are you working on them? Remember that for adding fractions, we just add the numerator. So just go through those. Same with subtracting, just subtract the numerator. Okay, who needs a little more time? Okay, I'll give another minute or so. Okay, I think we should be about done at this point. Let's start going over answers. And remember that 11, 13, and 15, hopefully you have two fractions, equivalent fractions for your answer. Alexander, could you share your answers to 11? This one you should have two different fractions for.
The first one?
Yes, number 11.
So, 1 6 plus 3 6 equals 4 6, which is also known as 2/3.
Great job. 4/6 and 2/3 are equivalent fractions, and that's the simplest form. Well done, Alexander.
Thank you. For
Josiah?
9. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll have each person just answer one. Josiah, could you tell me your answer to number 12? 4/9 plus 3/9.
7.
Excellent. And that's already simplest form. We can't divide 7 by anything, so, except for itself, and that would do no good since we can't divide 9 by 7. Ariansh, there should be two answers for number 13. Can you share them?
So, 3/5 plus 2/5 equals 5/5, or 1 whole.
Excellent. 5/5 or 1 whole. Dikshita, it looks like you wrote 5 as the other one, but it should be 1 whole whenever you have the numerator and denominator the same. It's the same as 1 whole.
And Miss Gardner,
Uh-huh.
do we write, like, is there some small little shortcut we could do to write 1 whole, or do we just have to write the entire word whole?
You can just write the number 1.
Oh, okay.
That's the shortcut. Okay, Emma, could you give us your answer to 6/7 minus 3/7?
I accidentally added.
Oh, okay. Well, let's do it with me right now. So can you subtract 6 minus 3?
Which is 3/7.
Good. 3/7 is the answer. And Tig, would you do number 15?
Number 15, it's, all right, 9 minus 5 equals 4, and the denominator stays the same, so the answer is 4/16.
Excellent. This one also can be reduced. Can you think of a simplest form for this number?
The simplest form for it would be it would be 2/8.
Good. It does equal 2/8. That's one of the equivalent fractions, but we can make it even simpler. Can you try dividing by 2 again?
1/4.
Perfect. 1/4. Which you can also get immediately if you just divide 4 by 4 and 16 by 4. Then your answer is 1/4. It's always easiest if you can divide by the numerator immediately. And in this case, we can. Okay, let's do, boys and girls, you're gonna have some practice of more simplifying and equivalent fractions for your homework. I'm gonna post it in Bright Thinker. And for the equivalent fractions, there will be some that are like this. 3/4 equals 9 blank. So that's a little different than what we were just doing with finding equivalent fractions because we already know one of them. Basically, when that happens, you know that it's going to be 3 times 3 equals 9. So that tells you what you're going to do at the bottom. So what's the answer, Alexander?
The answer is times, okay. 9/12.
Good. So that's what you should do whenever you have either the numerator or denominator given to you. Ask yourself, well, if it was flipped like this, 4 times 3 is what equals 12. So that means I'm also going to multiply by 3 at the top.
When do you is there anything like that we can practice with for fraction, like an extra thing, like?
Great question. I'm going to add some problems to Bright Thinker. Right after class, I'm going to add them. I wasn't sure how much of the review we were going to get through, but it looks like what we'll need to do a little more of is equivalent fractions and finding simplest forms. So that's what you'll do a little extra of.
Okay.
Okay, boys and girls, that's all for class today. If you are in the Wednesday reading group, you can stay, and everybody else, I'll talk to you later.
Oh man,
Have a good rest of your day.
Go.
What?
I thought we all gotta go.
Other than the reading group. Bye, everybody else.
Bye, Miss Gardner.
Bye, everybody else.
Bye,
We were
Sophia.
10 minutes earlier.
Meanwhile.
Marcus, are you here?